I want to just speak on a couple of topics quickly before the weigh-in starts here behind us. We've recently seen Gervonta Davis fight Lamont Roach. I know you're a fan of Gervonta. What did you make of the fight? He's been honest and said it was an off night, but how do you think this rematch plays out? Do you think Tank fixes those issues that he had in the first fight?
Yeah, I think there's two guys that knew each other very well. And I think Gervonta had a bad night. I look for a tough fight in the next fight, but I still see Gervonta winning. I think Gervonta will win in a little easier this time. But Roach is a heck of a fighter. He's going to give everybody a hard, anybody that he fights is going to give a hard time. But I do think that Davis had an off night.
I spoke to Eddie Hearn and he said he wanted to make the Shakur Tank fight straight away. Obviously now Tank's going into the rematch. That won't happen yet, but when it does happen, Eddie's still adamant that could happen this year or straight after the Roach fight. How do you see that fight playing out?
Between who?
Shakur and Tank.
I still think Tank is the elite in the division. It's a difficult fight also, but I don't think Shakur will be as difficult as Lamont Roach was. But I still see Davis winning. I like Davis. I've always been a fan of his. So hopefully that fight comes off. And if it does, I think the fans will be treated to a great fight.
Yeah, for sure. Because with Shakur, it's more of a technical boxer. I know you're a fan of those heavy hitters as well. What do you think Shakur could bring to that fight with obviously the power in Gervonta's hands and the skill set of Shakur? Do you still feel like Shakur can avoid that power, or do you think it would just be too much?
I think Shakur's very, very talented. He's extremely talented, but I don't think that you beat Davis by being a boxer, by being technical. I think that you beat Davis by being Lamont Roach, by fighting like Lamont did. You're going to have to press him. You're going to have to go at him, and I don't think Shakur has that kind of style to go at him.
I've heard you speak about the weight in boxing a lot. When you were speaking about the Canelo Crawford fight, is that one of those fights as well? You think the bigger guy wins?
No, I think skills are going to win in that fight. It's an exciting fight.
What makes you think? Who do you think wins that fight then?
Now, which one now?
The Canelo and Crawford.
Oh. Canelo and Skull?
Crawford. When that happens.
Come on, I think it's a ridiculous fight myself. I think that Crawford is too small. Canelo is, in my opinion, the face of boxing right now. I think that look at his resume. I think it's a good fight for a little while. Crawford's hand speed will, just like when Golovkin fought Kell Brook, the hand speed was evident at the beginning of the fight. But as the fight goes on, Canelo's going to start pounding on him, and I think that the fight ends somewhere between the 9th and 12th round.
You really figure because of the size difference, he can stop Crawford?
Well, absolutely. I think that anything Canelo hits him with is going to hurt him. He won't be able to catch him early because, like I said, the speed and the foot speed and the hand speed. And Crawford's a heck of a fighter at his own weight. 54, when he fought Madrimov in his last fight, showed us that he can't really, the weight makes a difference. I don't care how much weight he gains and how much he does to try to get up to that level, 168, is going to make a difference.
Now, you've had your views. You said ridiculous, which is fair enough. I understand and appreciate why you would say that. However, if Crawford was to turn up on the night, how do you feel like he could win?
If he was to win that night?
How do you see that a possibility, or is it really a 0% chance?
It's a 95-5 chance of Crawford winning, unless Canelo all of a sudden has grows to be 100 years old. I don't see that happening.
Well, since you
wait a minute, it's not taking anything away from Crawford, but Crawford at that weight is just not going to be, in my opinion, is not going to be competitive. It could be competitive for a little while, but after that, just as Canelo has shown in all of his fights, by the time the 5th or 6th round comes about, it's a sparring session for him and everybody that he's fought lately, except for Bivol being bigger than Canelo now.
Do you think it's necessary that Canelo fights William Skull then? Is there a point in him doing that before the Crawford fight, or should it be, with his age considered, sooner rather than later?
No, of course there's a reason. He wants to, first of all, he wants to be unified. And second of all, I think Canelo's earned the right to fight whomever he wants. I think Canelo's done enough for himself and for the sport to be able to fight whomever is next in his vision.
Okay, so what about the fight with Benavidez? Why would you say that fight makes sense. Are you a fan of that one?
No, I don't think Benavidez has earned it. I don't think Benavidez got to understand, in my opinion. He's my friend and his father's my friend, but I think they have to understand that he who drives the car calls the shots. And Canelo right now is the one that's driving boxing in that division anyway. He's the one that you're going to have to earn the right to fight him. Yeah?
Just before we end off, I want to get your thoughts on the fight. I will be out in Saudi Arabia, but the night before, over in New York, we have Garcia returning, Haney returning. Both winnable fights. Which one do you think is more difficult, Garcia versus Rowley or Haney versus Ramirez?
Haney versus Ramirez. I think Garcia stops Rowley somewhere between the second or the 7th or 8th round, somewhere in there. I think the Haney fight is a difficult fight. We're going to see really what Haney is made of because Ramirez is going to give him a hard time. I think Robert, his coach, will put a game plan together like he did for Barboza that will make it difficult for Haney. We're going to see whether Haney belongs at that top level, talking about Shakur and Gervonta and all those guys.
Okay, Haney, Garcia 2, who wins that? I guess
it depends on how Haney looks in this next fight. If all of a sudden he shows us that he belongs up there, then that's a difficult fight for Garcia because he'll be smarter. Haney will.
Short notice, of course, 3-4 weeks. Filip Hrgovic steps up, and you're his trainer. I heard you mention in an interview before that Joe may not have known that you were in this man's corner. You've obviously worked with Joe as well, so it's exciting times for boxing fans to be able to see this fight and for you to be working with Filip Hrgovic against Joe Joyce. Just talk to us about this matchup.
Well, we were in training camp for about 6 months, starting back in September, and several fights got called off on us in December and in February. So Joe had no clue that because I didn't advertise it, But Filip went home for about 2.5 weeks before they called him about the fight. He was in shape. He was training up in Big Bear. So when he called me and asked me what I thought, absolutely, take it. It's a great fight for us. So then I flew to Croatia, and we trained in Croatia for the last 3 weeks. We sparred very well in Croatia, and then we came here on Monday.
Now, you've worked with the best of the best. What makes you want to work with Filip Hrgovic?
Well, we were in contact for about a month and a half discussing a lot of particulars in regards to the training and how I like to train and everything, and he agreed to do things my way. Came to camp, and he's been great in camp. He's done everything that I've asked him to do, and he's done everything that I thought he should do to try to develop into a better fighter.
How does this fight play out?
Pardon me?
How does this fight play out tomorrow night?
I think Joe, as I've always said, Joe has a great motor. He's a guy that'll go 10 rounds in the same speed for 10 rounds. If we're able to catch him early, we'll put him out. If not, maybe 6 or 7 rounds, and I think Joe will take too much punishment.
Now, obviously, you're not the man going in there tomorrow night. Do you have a kind of vision of what you want Filip to be achieving in the next 6 to 12 months? And who in the heavyweight division, it's so stacked and it's on fire right now. Do you have a vision of who he could be fighting?
Well, for right now, I think Joe is my main focus. Joe Joyce is my main focus. But getting by Joe will be a big feather in Filip's cap. The heavyweight division is so wide open right now. There's so many guys out there we could fight. It doesn't really matter to me. It just we'll start preparing for the next guy once we get past Joe.
What can we expect? I know you've got some guys coming up next week as well. Talk to us about your schedule over the next few months.
Well, on the 19th, we have Sadruddin Akhmedov fighting for 360 Promotions down in City of Commerce. So right now, we had another kid in on the card, Ronnie Mancia, but his fight fell out for a different reason. But we're slowly getting back into it. 3 fighters right now is good enough for me, and we'll see how it goes after that.
Yeah, for sure, and obviously a big one this Saturday. Heavy impact. I love the tagline. I love the opportunity. Filip Hrgovic stepping in on short notice as well. So best of luck with that.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate your time. Thank you so much.